making a 22-man American football roster using only Xenoblade characters because you can't stop me. Even though this trend is like 9 months old. Ground rules. Player has to be a protagonist/playable character in Xenoblade 1, 2, 3, X, or any of the affiliated DLC. Number 2, they can't use weapons. I think that's fairly obvious. That would be a bit of a 25-yard flag if someone were to chop someone's head off. And 3, my opinions are correct. There is no doubt that these are the best selections for these positions, and you should take it as fact. We're going to start with the defense, because I think that's where some of the more interesting decisions are. The first one, not very interesting. Defensive line, I'm just going to go with Lanz and Wulfric. Just 2 big, buff dudes. Lanz does maybe need his power frame. I wouldn't classify that as a weapon. We'll see what the rules board says about it. But yeah, just 2 big, strong dudes in there that can eat up space, get good push on the interior offensive line. My only real concern is Wulfric being kind of that gentle giant. Does he really have that dog in him when you need it? I don't think that really matters. His size and strength is just too good. Even if he doesn't have the drive, he can just be a space eater and be very good. Moving along to the edge linebackers, I'm going to go with Senna. And I think Senna has the capability to be the premier player on this defense. She has such absurd strength in such a small package, right? You know those clips of Reggie White just literally tossing people around? That's what Senna can be. Senna can be the next minister of defense. I fully believe that Senna can literally just demolish a 300-pound tackle with one arm. She can lift a hammer that is the same size as her. It's fully doable. Now, because Senna is so short, you may run into situations where the offensive lineman is able to move first and just kind of forklift her. And I think that's a risk I'm willing to take. I'm willing to say that Senna will not give up the first move, be able to contend in the hand fighting, and then just throw the guy aside. I think that is fully within the realm of possibility, and that is why Senna, I think, can be an insane pass rusher, just with the absurd strength she has, while still being small enough to have good speed to chase down the target. On the other side of the line, I'm going to go with Nia. So we don't see Nia do too many cat-like things, but I do think she has the agile reflexes of a cat anyway. And I think there you get good agility and bend around the edge, which is a really good combination and a good contrast to Senna's strength on the other side that will make offensive linemen kind of be slow to adjust whenever we switch up sides. An underrated part of being an edge is also trash talk, and I think Nia, with that Welsh accent, with that attitude, would do a great job at just getting under the skin of the opposing tackles and getting them off their game. So trash talk, underrated. I think Nia would be very good at that. Moving along to the Mike linebacker, I'm probably going to just go with Rex. You know, the Mike is all about communication, wearing that green dot, and that's what Rex is all about. Communicating, leadership, friendship. He's a perfect fit for the Mike. He is a salvager, which I think requires a good bit of strength and endurance, so he can be on the field for a lot of snaps. The 2 issues I kind of see with him is, number 1, the salvager suit. Probably not the best equipment. Probably going to limit him a lot. Hopefully we can just play without it. And 2 is that he's kind of short. Nothing we can really do about that one. Maybe we get adult Rex if needed, but I'm willing to take the risk of short Rex on the field, because at our other linebacker position, I'm going with Matthew. Matthew just has absurd athleticism. He's doing all this parkour flipping nonsense throughout all his attacks. He is a 10.0 RAS score athlete, and he will give you whatever you need with those natural gifts. He's going to be able to go sideline to sideline with speed. He's going to be able to overpower blockers with his strength. The one maybe issue with Matthew is the thinking part and reading, run fits and stuff like that. I think that's why we just kind of put him at a will linebacker spot and have Rex do most of the thinking as the Mike. Just have Matthew in a position where he's see ball, chase ball, hit ball. It's all we need from him, and I think he can excel if we just kind of remove the brain part of the game from his role. Moving along to the secondary, first cornerback will be Elma. I think Elma is very curious, for lack of a better word, and cornerback requires a lot of studying, of understanding your opponent, all the route concepts they're going to throw at you, how you need to get leverage in those situations. So I think Elma would be a good fit for that reason. And also, she has Ghost Factory and Shadow Runner, which I think makes it very easy for her to get around the field and be in the right position against the route, because she can just kind of cheat with those 2 moves. I don't classify those as weapons. Maybe they get penalized, maybe they don't. I just think those 2 skills alone make Elma very good at a position that needs to kind of follow the enemy and make it difficult for them to get in a good position, get open on the field. At the other cornerback position, this is going to be a bit weird. It's going to be Dunban. I know Dunban only has one arm, but hear me out. I think, again, he's very studious, and he's willing to put everything he has into what he's trying to do. So even with just one arm, I think he can mirror the technique of the opposing wide receiver super well and just be very sticky in coverage. Now, is he going to be able to catch any balls that are thrown at him? Is he going to be able to make interceptions with one arm? Probably not. But I don't care. I want Dunban on this team. I want his leadership capabilities in the locker room. And I think this is a place where we can put him. He may have difficult tackling, may have difficulty catching the ball. I don't care. I think he's going to be a good student of the game, be able to just lock down a wide receiver for 60 minutes. Okay, so the main issue we have right now is neither of our corners can tackle. At the nickel, we're going to try to resolve that with Gondor. Similar to Matthew, Gondor is super athletic. So I think Gondor can really match whatever an offense throws at her. Whether it's a big tight end she has to overpower, whether it's a crafty wide receiver she needs to go step for step with, whether it's a speedy running back she needs to follow, I think she can do all of that, bring a lot of aggressiveness from that nickel position as well that we don't really have in the other two cornerback positions. I think Gondor is great for this kind of physical position that needs a lot of versatility. Trying to keep it in the physical range for the safeties, I'm going to go with Mecha Fiora at the strong side. Again, I don't know if the suit counts as a weapon. I know the shoes are kind of the weapon, but either way, I think Mecha Fiora here, as long as we get the mecha version of Fiora, not the human version of Fiora, can be very good. She may not be able to switch out her weapons based on what she needs, based on whatever augments she wants to go against the opposing offense, but again, just a robot. Going to be a good physical hitter, going to be fast. It's just a robot. I really don't have another explanation. And then at free safety, another possible premier player in this defense, it's Mithra. Can move at light speed, can see the future. That's just so good for the free safety to be able to roam around, be that last line of defense, and be just a playmaker. We're not going to have her come down into the box and be really physical. We're just going to have her read ahead into the future, get all over the field with light speed, and make plays. Now, again, I don't know what version of Mithra we're going to get. Are we going to get the kind of more selfish Torna version? Are we going to get the redeemed main game version? So her kind of cockiness and arrogance, we'll see how that kind of tempers in. We'll see if she actually shares her future visions with anyone on the team. It depends which version we get, right? I think even without that, Mithra just has insane tools to be able to succeed at the safety position. Okay, moving along to the offense, where I think stuff is a bit more straightforward. Quarterback, we have Shulk. He can read the future. Now, there is a bit of a timing issue. Are we getting Shulk before he gives up the god powers, before he gives up the visions? I'm going to say we do. And so he is the perfect system quarterback to sling it in this offense. Arm strength, maybe not the best, but it'll do. At running back, going to be a bit odd here. I'm going to go with Boreas. Now, there is a bit of contention as to what counts as being down for Boreas, because he doesn't have elbows, he doesn't have knees. So when he spins up and just rolls through people, is that going to be classified as down if someone touches him? You know, we may have to reevaluate this decision, but again, just the ability to roll out at supersonic speeds makes Boreas so good at the running back position. A blend of speed, a blend of power. Possible issue is, again, the dog in him. Is he really going to put his best foot forward if there's not food on the line? I think that's a pretty easy incentive to work in to the system, so I still think Boreas can be an absolute stud of a running back. Wide receiver, we're going with Rock. I understand that flying might be banned. That's more obvious, I think, than the light speed stuff we talked about with Mithra or the maybe Ghost Factory. Either way, let's just assume flying is banned. Even then, Rock is just immensely tall. He can take really long strides with those bird legs and just go up, make plays with his insane height. Other wide receiver, I'm going to go with Pandoria. I don't have a great explanation for this one. You know, lightning powers you kind of associate with going fast. She also has the light bulbs that can act as blinkers to ping Shulk when she's open, as long as it's within the progression, of course. Yeah, I don't really have much else. For the slot receiver, you know, it's usually termed a gadget player. So we'll take the literal gadget of Poppy Cutie Pie here. Slot is a very diverse position that can have a whole host of different players in it at any given time. We can just have Poppy Cutie Pie be all of them because we can switch out the hardware based on what we need. And being that flexible gadget player, whether you need speed, whether you need power, is going to be super valuable, and why I want to put Poppy Cutie Pie in this more flexible role. At tight end, I'm going to go with Zeke. I think with the Blade Eater power, Zeke, again, has just absurd strength and also speed for someone of his size. That can be super valuable as a tight end because he can either maul people up the line of scrimmage or breeze by linebackers to get open at the second level. So again, a good blend of speed and strength, something that is pretty recurring for this team. And I think Zeke fits right in there. He's big body. He's going to be able to take on edge rushers and whatever you throw at him. Maybe the only issue is the eye patch. Does that really mess with depth perception? Can he make a catch like that? I think he's lived for long enough with the eye patch that I trust him. All right, rounding it out with the beefy boys on the line. Left tackle, usually considered the most valuable protector of the quarterback, getting his blind side. So I'm going to go with Ryan for no other reason than plot armor. He's going to have that drive to keep his boy Shulk clean and upright. He's got solid strength, even if it's not hyper impressive compared to some of the guys we've gone over. But I think just the plot armor, the drive, the motivation, that's why I want Ryan guarding Shulk's blind spot. At left guard, going to go a bit out there. I'm going to go with Nickel. Again, the battery arms, I don't know if I see them as a weapon. It'd be kind of ableist to see assistance arms as a weapon. They don't have to cut people's heads off. It can be used to just help them do things. Offensive line is a position that is all about hand placement, so we just get these massive hands on someone who is small and agile, like Nickel. So you have good power with being able to reach around with these arms, and you have the ability to get up to the second level because he is not a 300-pounder, right? So yeah, hand placement is why we're going with Nickel. At center, I'm going to go with Vandam. I just kind of need a big guy. I just need a big guy, really. The center is also responsible for doing a lot of checks at the line, so I think Vandam, as a good coordinator and leadership of the mercenaries, fits in here at the center position. Right guard, just another big guy. We're going with Trite. Only advantage, really, to Trite is that he gets to absorb the powers of the people that get blocked into oblivion by Nickel or Vandam. And then at right tackle, I have this person listed as Forearms because I forget her name all the time, is Newt. Same thing as Nickel, big hands, good reach, agile, can get up to the second level. Why is she right tackle while Nickel is left tackle? I don't know, I like Nickel more and I think left guard is cooler. All right, that rounds out the 22-man roster. Special teams, I guess we need a kicker. So Florin, he kicks balls, sure. Punter, we don't need one. We're never punting. This is a world where 2/3 of the computer gods are nerds. We're gonna go with the analytic nerds. We are not punting ever. And at returner, it could literally just be any of the dynamic playmakers. We have literally any skill position. For staff, head coach, Monica, good leader of people. I don't really have much else to say on that. Offensive coordinator, I want to put him in somewhere. Tyon, he's a nerd. He can draw up cool shit. He can have his Mondos act as kind of scouts. We'll have maybe a Spygate scandal, but he could just be looking at the field. He could just be surveying the field with the Mondo, nothing more. For defensive coordinator, we have future vision powers on the offense. We kind of have them on defense. So let's fully reinforce it. Let's put A in as defensive coordinator. I know she doesn't really share the visions because they need to be realized and the future is actually whatever, man. It's fine. I think having a more tactical, strategic, logical coordinator is fine. A lot of the aggression is already in the lineup. There just really isn't much left. So yeah, we'll go with logic and someone who can keep a cool head no matter what happens. And that about wraps us up. It's all correct. There is no better way to do this. The team is fantastic. Pop Tarts Bowl, here we come. All right, bye.